I believe we're live. We are live.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty good, huh? Kind of like what's the guy's name with the UFC? It's not
Buffer.
Bruce Buffer, but there's another guy, right? Isn't he?
His brother, I think.
His brother? I always love that. We are live.
Always thought it would be cool to have that guy do your wake up alarm. If you could do like a custom wake up alarm or a answering machine for you.
I should come up with something for the Rise and Conquer group.
Oh God.
So you can just download it and use it as your phone alarm. So I think that'd be pretty sick.
Yeah, for sure.
Radio. So here we are, another success interview here on Forge Father FM. Tonight we got my man Chris Henning, who is out in Oklahoma. It's a little cold for. No, you're not in Oklahoma now. You're down in Texas. You used to be in Oklahoma. Now you're
It's
Texas,
a little cold.
right?
I'm in
Cold
actually
for you guys.
Oklahoma City right now.
Oh, you're back in Oklahoma City?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the temperature for you guys now?
Last time I checked, it was 19.
Oh yeah.
Which
I think
is
it's,
I can't remember it being that cold here.
It
Probably
is.
going to be setting some records tonight, maybe.
Nice. It's like every day up here.
Yeah, it's lower teens for us. Adam, you guys are probably pretty cold too.
Yeah. We're in the 20s right now. It was
Mhm.
it was like 15 this morning. Yeah.
Brutally cold.
Can you tell the difference from 20 to 10?
You kind of can.
Not a whole lot.
If you're
Not
out
really.
if you're outside running in it, it's your face freezes a little faster.
Minus 55 degrees Celsius with the wind chill in Alberta.
So that might be instead of the cold shower, you just walk out onto the back porch.
So funny story with all that. We got a gentleman in my gym, Joel is his name, and I had a coaching call with him a couple weeks ago, and I told him about the ice cold showers, and he's like, I don't know about that. I don't think I'm into that. And I was like, just give it a try, man. You never know, could grow on you. So what he did the other day is he went out, and this was, I want to say Saturday or Sunday, but he just went out in shorts, spent 45 minutes out there because he came across Wim Hof. Like I've told people about Wim Hof forever, and he came across a video, and so he wanted to try a bunch of stuff, and so he did some Wim Hof breathing, went outside, and he's like, I ended up just staying outside for 45 minutes, and it was just above freezing. It was probably like 10 degrees out, and he just stood out there. He said he was fine. So interesting.
Yeah, I might do that on my way to the hot tub. Do some Wim Hof breathing. 5 seconds to the hot tub.
Yeah. Just hold your breath then.
Yeah.
So Chris, why don't you do us the honors and give us a little introduction, man?
Yeah, so I guess we've been friends for, I want to say, since 2010, roughly.
It's been a while, man.
That we met around then. And, I had played college sports. I played Division I, Division II football. And, I'd kind of thought, I'm in fantastic shape. I've reached the pinnacle. And then, as you age and you get a job and you move on in life, you kind of lose that edge, I would say. And you kind of fall into bad habits and less structure and whatnot. And, I've just kind of been like this through the years, up and down. And when I met you, I was kind of on an upslope. My fitness, my health, business, all that stuff was going great. And then I want to say around 2012, I don't know what happened, but you could call it like a midlife crisis or something, but I went into like self-destruction mode. And, I was living, pretty much like a rock star, doing whatever I wanted to do, whenever I wanted to do it. And, I paid the price with that, with my health, my businesses, my son started to get into trouble. And it was kind of you that pulled me out of it. You just kind of leading by example. So for me, just being part of the brotherhood, even though didn't super participate during that time, I was still watching us. I was seeing what you were up to. So, as those lessons came home to roost, and, shit starts to hit the fan basically in every aspect of your life, you kind of start grasping for straws. You start looking for something. And I just remembered, man, Travis, he walks the walk. there's no talk there. He actually does what he says he's going to do. And if you remember when we met back in that group, there's a lot of guys in there that didn't do that.
No.
They were, I don't know what you would call them, bullshit artists, faking the funk.
Pretty much.
And that's kind of what drew me to you back then. I was like, this guy's legit. You and CJ, do you remember him?
Yep, I remember CJ.
Yeah. So kind of football guys.
Yep.
The same mentality.
Oh yeah, CJ. Yep, CJ
Easter.
Oh, man. Yep, CJ Easter, ex Stanford player.
Number 12 before Andrew Luck.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say.
Yep.
So it was kind of a pretty fast and hard fall for me. I had relationship troubles. I had business troubles, partner troubles with businesses. My son started to get into trouble.
Yeah.
And it was all because of me, basically just kind of spinning out of control. But it really started with, when one area of your life is screwed up, it's like every aspect of your life is kind of screwed up and just kind of deteriorates a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was kind of what was going on with me. And, you kind of pulled me out of it. So, that's kind of a long story short, with all of this.
Yeah. Going back years ago, the groups that we were a part of, the mastermind that we were a part of is like an info group. Everybody kind of had their little product or whatever. And yeah, you hit it on the head. A lot of those guys, you look at them and you're like, you're a fitness dude? You're into fitness? You sell a 6-pack ab program, but you're like 45 pounds overweight. And
there was a couple of guys like that, but there were some other legit guys. Like CJ was totally legit.
Yeah, there was.
But there were a couple of guys in there that were really kind of, you would call them obese, and they're selling like fitness plans. And that's what I think probably drew us to each other was, it's like, if you're gonna sell this, you better actually do, what it is you're preaching. At least to the very least, a test on yourself.
Yeah.
So that's what I knew would pull me out of the funk that I was in. I had to do a lot of deep soul searching and just kind of correct some things and kind of get rid of some relationships that weren't serving me or anybody else well. But it was kind of your leadership that pulled me out of that, because I was like, what, if I just get back to doing what, the truth, see the truth for what it is, and just, if you say you're going to do something, then you do it. Mm-hmm. You'll get out of this mess that you're in. It was a pretty bad mess. Yeah. So
it was back in 2012. That's kind of when the decline happened. When did start?
It was kind of like I stopped eating well. I stopped exercising as much as I did. I stopped playing golf. I stopped even, working as much. And, I don't know if it was like you reach a certain level of success and then you're just like, well, I can do whatever the hell I want. I don't know if it's kind of ego kicks in and you think you're like Superman. And, I guess it's kind of like those guys that hit it big, and then you just see like they get arrested by the cops and they're on TV, like
bored.
Yeah. And then they're like, well, maybe I do have some issues that I need to work on. So that's kind of what happened to me.
Yeah. It's a similar conversation I had with another gentleman earlier today. Very similar. He has 2 different businesses that he has and is just basically complacent. He's almost 60 pounds overweight. He's like, I'm kind of driven to lose it. Kind of not. I'm happy getting married. I'm like, cool. Well, I guess you got to find that thing for you to give you, I guess, a little bit of pressure to move. Right. So it's like, if we're good, like we won't take action. You can think about what it is that you want. You think about better health or whatever, but until like your current position or situation is so bad, most people don't move. Right. And so for you, Chris, like what was the turning point for you? Like, where were you when you're like, enough of this shit?
Well, I was having all kinds of troubles, man. It was, pick one. But I would say the number one thing was when my son got in trouble with the police for selling drugs.
Yeah.
And that was just me not being around, paying attention, and being a good leader. That was me being a screwball,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and not paying attention, being a bad dad, basically. And from that moment on, I was just like, this shit's got to change. And that's kind of when I reached out to you. I knew you'd been doing this group for a while. And I knew that that's what would help pull me out of it, like, to be accountable to other guys. And, you know, so it was really my son getting in trouble, but I knew, you know, I mean, this went on for a couple of years, and, you know, business starts to decline a little bit. You're getting lazy. You know, the money keeps rolling in, but, you know, it gets a little bit less and a little bit less because you're not working. You're not doing what you need to do because you're complacent. And, you know, so it wasn't even really the money. It was my son that kind of, you know, I got to man up. I got to own this mess that I've created and just change my shit, basically.
Yeah.
And, you know, it started with the physical side of things. That was the one thing that I could control. I could control what I eat, and I can control weights that I lift, you know, to a point. And that's really all I felt in control of at that point was, you know, just let's get up, let's eat well, let's exercise, let's be accountable to the guys in the group, and we'll just take, you know, one step at a time and kind of go from there. And I mean, it took a while, but, you know, when we had the event at the gym, for me, that was like kind of like, you know what, man, you did it. You turned everything around, and, you know, you did things, because I was a little bit older than most of the people in your CrossFit thing there, you know, when we had the CrossFit games.
Yep.
But I did pretty good. I mean, it's not like I finished in last place or anything. And a lot of those things I hadn't done in, you know, 20 years. It's like, you know, Olympic lifting stuff.
Yep.
And that stuff is pretty intense, man, when you get that weight on your back and you're like, whoa, okay. Yeah, this is some serious shit right here. So for me, that was just getting back into the gym and just being surrounded with the positivity. And I think that's what I enjoy the most about the group is, you know, there's a lot of guys that are in a similar place that I was right now in the group, but you see them showing up every damn day. And that's pretty inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. How's your relationship with your son now? Now that you've been in the group for a while, you've been in this program. How's that helped?
I mean, he's kind of a smart ass, but like what teenage guy isn't? But it's a lot better now. I'm around, like I'm paying attention to what's going on. You know, he just started college, which is better than prison. You know what I mean? There's girls in college. They're doing the virtual thing right now, so not many girls yet. But you know, the relationship with him is tons better.
Awesome.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, and you mentioned, you know, one of the first things that changed, I guess, that you took control of was your fitness, was your health. You know, so you started working out again, you started eating better, and now you're obviously last year was all messed up with like COVID and whatnot, but you're still attacking the Strong First cert, right?
Yeah, I'm actually. If they were to have it today, I could pass it today. So
yeah,
that took me about, I want to say 5 months. I followed their fitness. They have like a little SFG plan that they have, and they just kind of work you in progressively. You know, I'm getting kind of burned out on it now because it's the same crap every day. That's why I was talking to you the other day about mixing it up a little bit, and I feel a ton better since I've been doing that. But yeah, I mean, it's really just about making those small, tiny steps every single day, and that's really with the 100 snatches with a 54-pound bell in 5 minutes. That's no joke.
Yeah, no.
You know, and it takes a while to get up to that. So,
and they're super strict on the form and technique, which obviously you should be, but they take it to a whole nother level at the certification. And I don't think you can have a certain amount of misses, right?
Well, you got to get 100. So, you know, if you screw up 25 of them, you got to do 125 of them.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm trying to get to. I think that's what you said you did when you did it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, my form is way better now than it was, 6 months ago.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got the fitness back in check. Obviously that's just a default habit for you anymore. So what are some of the other pieces and principles that you've taken away over the time?
Well, with the fitness, you get confidence.
Yeah.
And that's everything. Like if you believe you can do, I mean, surviving that snatch test is really tough. Mentally, you're like 2.5 minutes in and you're gassed. I mean, you know what it's like. But if you feel like you can do that, you can accomplish anything. Like, I mean, what's sitting at a computer and working for a couple hours? I mean, you're not out of breath. You're not struggling to do it. It's, it makes everything a lot easier, and you believe in yourself. And once you get that confidence going, it's like a snowball, man. It just gets bigger and bigger, and you just kind of gain momentum. And that's really, when you're at your bottom, it's kind of hard to imagine that. But as you keep, every single day showing up and getting a little tiny bit better, that confidence builds in yourself, and you start to believe. And I mean, that's really where it's at, is believing in yourself. So, I mean, from that, we're doing new projects with my businesses. Those are going really well. We had our best year ever financially with the web hosting stuff, which is, we weren't really sure like what was going to happen last year. We thought, man, everybody's going to cancel because they're like so worried about finances and all that. And it was like, nope, like we had more business than we could handle, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, but being, present, we were able to handle that. We were able to grow. We were able to do what we needed to do to take in that business. If it was old Chris, we'd probably still be out doing party time, not caring about it too much.
Yeah. It's COVID.
Yeah.
COVID party. Right.
Yeah. So for me, like the group is just really, it's just been a life changer last couple of years.
One thing I did want to talk about, because I remember when we first started working together, when you came into the group, and I was coaching you, and I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that you trusted me, that you knew me for a couple of years before you got started, but telling you, hey, you got to eat more food. You got to eat more food. You got to eat more food. And I remember the weight wasn't coming off. Nothing was happening really. And it was all those years of just beating yourself down, being overstressed, kind of just partying, just throwing your body for a freaking loop. So talk about that, man. I think that's interesting.
So when you're in college and you have like the food pass and you can go get like meal anytime you want, or you're living at home and mom's making you all the food, but you're like a super active guy when you're younger, you don't realize like how much you are actually eating. Like you're eating a ton of food and it's just natural. It's just, you're not really thinking about it, right? But as you get older and you get more stressed out, I don't know what it is about cortisol or whatever, but you just don't want to eat sometimes. I don't know if it's the stress that causes it, or you just get too busy or whatever, or you're a lot less active, or it's all of those things. But over time, you just start eating less and less and less. But, for me, when I was super stressed out, it was all my own doing too. It was like ridiculous. But I was barely eating anything. I mean, what was it? Like 1,200 calories a day?
Yeah, something ridiculous.
Oh, damn.
And, I was 25 pounds overweight, close to 30 pounds, and I'm eating 1,200 calories a day. But, what didn't make sense was, and I didn't realize it at the time, is like on the weekends, I would go eat whatever the hell I wanted. So I might eat 10,000 calories in a day and not even realize it. And then the next day I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to do some intermittent fasting.
That'll fix it.
Like that's going to fix it.
It's magic. Come on.
See, I was living off of all of those TV commercials. I don't know if it was like 20 years of TV commercials brainwashing me, but I was not eating enough food. And I thought you were crazy at first, but I did trust you because you showed me what you ate. And I was like, and I'm quite a bit larger than you are. So, and you're telling me about all this food. And I remember when we were in San Diego, how much food you ate, because I used to crack jokes about it. Because we were at one place and you got a salad and you're like, no, I want a big ass salad. I want like, how much chicken can you put on this? You're talking to the waitress. I don't know. It was like 12 ounces or something. It was something ridiculous.
Yeah, I remember. Jeff. You,
yeah, he was with
Jeff,
us.
we'd always go eat, and that Morton's. We used to go to Morton's Steakhouse all the time in San Diego, and I would get a salad, and then I would get a main course, and then you guys would be like, "All right, we're ready to go." I was like, "Guys, I'm getting dessert. Like, I'm ready for dessert,
butter cake or whatever it was."
So yeah.
Jeff could eat too, but I mean, we're both larger than you, and you would eat us under the table, man. And I kept thinking about that too. Like I was like, why am I not hungry? Like what's going on? And just, I think over time, your metabolism just keeps getting slower and slower and slower. It's almost like it's sick, and it just takes a while for it to come back. But now I'm like hungry all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm still not to the 3,000 calories a day. I'm close, but you know, I'm not quite there.
Yeah, you've been building up slowly and steadily. And another interesting thing that we were tracking with you was your body temperature. Like you were, what was your body temperature when you first started?
It was like 96.7 degrees.
Yeah. So it's low. And the reason for that is the metabolism is just, it's not running hot. So if you want to check things out, anybody listening, watching this, and you're kind of in that same position, you're like, I'm never hungry, that's why I don't eat, or, you know, you are intermittent fasting or whatever, check your temperature. Check your temperature every time you get up in the morning. Like check your temperature. If it's low, that's a big sign that you need to actually start eating more food. It's got to get that up there.
I've read a little research on that, and there's something to it. You know, everybody has their own little set thermometer, I guess, in their body, their set temperature, and it was crazy because the more food that I ate, the hotter the temperature was. Mm-hmm. So, and then I could tell when I ate a lot of protein the day before, because my temperature would be warmer than if I ate more carbs the day before, it wouldn't be as warm as if I ate protein. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if there's something there or what, but I mean, you should see my spreadsheet. It's ridiculous how many stats I keep on there each day.
Yep. You're tracking a lot.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. But yeah, it took like what, 3 months for us to kind of repair your metabolism.
Man,
and
nothing happened.
Then it finally shifted over. Yeah.
I got stronger. I felt better. The workouts were going good, but like just nothing was happening with the old body weight. And you know, one day I just woke up and I was starving, and you know, it's just been getting a little bit better each day since then. So I don't know.
Yeah. A switch got flipped somewhere. So
yeah, it's like, you know, when you're in your 30s. It's a lot easier than when you're in your 40s. I don't know what happens. It's just, I think if you maintain yourself in your 30s, your 40s wouldn't be a big deal. But like if you falter in your 40s, it makes it twice as hard. You know what I mean? It's like,
oh yeah.
So if you're in your 30s, get off your ass and do something.
Yeah, don't wait until you're in your 40s, because
don't do what I did.
Yeah, it's gonna be that much harder. Just putting things off. You gotta make it harder. It might not. It's like the problem might be this big right now, but you don't want to deal with it. So you kind of put it off to the side, and then come back in a couple months. It's a little bit bigger. Put it off. Come back in another year. Now it's big, right? So
that's exactly the thing. And like, you know, a lot of the thing holding me back from changing, you know, when I was doing my rock star stuff, was the fear of actually having to deal with some stuff. You know, and then when you actually deal with it, it's not that bad. You know, it's not as bad as you thought it would be. So, you know, there's a lot of guys out there. Maybe there's something they need to deal with. Maybe it's drinking. Maybe it's, you know, whatever. The sooner you just confront it, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Harder decisions make an easier life. Easier decisions make a harder life. That's
yeah.
You see that all the time. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes we're our own worst enemies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go out and screw things up just to screw them up.
Just to create chaos.
Yeah. I'm bored. I was bored. Thought I would create some.
It was like that Ricky Bobby's dad in the Talladega Nights when they're at that family dinner at the very end and everything's going great. And he throws a tantrum and storms out. He's like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "Everything's going too good."
Yep.
I think you got too good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Self-sabotage is, you know, I talk about this a lot, and this how we're the world's best bullshitters to ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. So we'll tell ourselves anything to get ourselves out of situations, doing the work. Didn't want to wake up this morning. So yeah, you'll come up with hundreds of stories on why that was okay. Oh, I was tired from last night. Didn't get my sleep. I'll do it later. I can just double up tomorrow, right? So got to deal with that.
Yeah, and I see that with the guys that I coach on my golf coaching. You know, we'll have them do some similar things than what you have me do, And I can just see like through the lines. I'm like, this guy's full of shit. I know he is, because that was me 2 years ago. Like, I know exactly what's going on. So I think it's, with all the negative things that happen, I think it's made me actually a better coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Because we do lie to ourselves, and it's kind of like when you're tracking your food and then you get up and you don't think about putting something in there, and it could be coffee creamer. So if you put a little too much coffee creamer in there, that could put in like 25 grams of carbs, right? And fats, and it sends you over your numbers. And if you keep doing that every single day, then you're wondering what the heck's going on, but you weren't tracking the truth.
Yep.
And I think some of that is maybe subconscious, that you don't think about it. It's like, oh, it's just, whatever. But, it's just really kind of, you got to get to the truth and quit bullshitting yourself, so to speak.
One of the first things you need to do for change, own up to that man in the mirror.
It's the hardest thing though, right?
Mm-hmm. No, you make an interesting point with, not tracking that 25 grams, right? And the first time you do it, you're probably aware of it. You're like, I'm not going to track it today. Okay. And then you do it again.
I don't want to put it into my fitness pal. I'm too lazy for some reason.
If that's the case, or you just go outside the boundary and you're like, okay, just today. And then you let it happen the next day, and then the next day, and then it becomes the norm. Then you don't pay attention to it because you've swept it under the rug. Right? But just that little deviation, and it's just like how it works in the opposite direction too, is okay, if we're trying to get better, let's do one thing every single day to move ourselves forward. It's going to be a slow, steady, road ahead, but the same can happen for the negative direction too. It's just like you continue to do those bullshit things every single day. You're just kind of shooting yourself in the foot. You don't think it's that bad, but then it adds up over time, right? You keep on putting something off, or taking shortcuts.
You're bullshitting yourself too. You just won't admit it. And that's the hard thing. It's to be like, you know what, you are your own problem. You're the one that has created all of this mess. And that was the hard thing for me. It was like just kind of a come to Jesus moment. It's like, all right, man, you've done this, you've done this, you've done this, you've done this. It's all you. You wanted to do these things. It's caused all these other problems. It's your fault. And once you accept that, and I think that's the big turning point for most guys.
Mm-hmm. I saw a shirt the other day that says it's all my fault on the front. Yeah. That's all it says. I thought that was a really cool shirt.
Yeah. It's like a lot of people say, you are where you are supposed to be, wherever that is in life. I think after a certain age, after you've accomplished certain things, that's true. I mean, you can't pick where you're born, where you're raised, your financial situation as a kid, but as you get older and you have more control in your life, you are where you are supposed to be. You are in control of your own destiny.
Spot on. From the things that you have done and the things that you have not done, you are exactly where you need to be.
Yeah. So because there's people that have come from a lot worse circumstances than any of the three of us, and look at The Rock. How much money is in his bank account? How happy is he? How many houses does that guy own? So we can all come up with our own excuses, but I guess we have our own throttles, so to speak. It's like, or governors in your brain. So.
Yep. Your subconscious mind, which a lot of people don't even realize their subconscious is the thing that's holding them back. All the stories, and we're talking about the truth here, like owning up to the truth and telling yourself the truth and operating through the truth. Oftentimes those stories that we choose to believe on how you're too busy, how you're too old, how you don't have the right this or that, or COVID or whatever, it's all bullshit. But people choose to believe it to be true.
Yeah, that was one of the big ones with me. It was like, you're too old, like you can't do any of this stuff. And when I first started a lot of these things, I felt like shit the next day. I'll be honest. But now I can go and crush it, and I feel pretty good the next day. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling at least 15 years younger than I am. And when I first started in the group, it was all about, you were talking about the stories a lot. And that really hit home to me, because you can hear when you hear somebody else talk about them, like you start to hear the stories, like you're not aware of them until you're aware of them.
Yep.
And so, I mean, that was pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting how that goes. Again, it's like within your subconscious mind, something has happened so many times, or you've allowed it to happen. And again, kind of going back to the being busy thing, it's the biggest bunch of bullshit there is. Like, I had another conversation with the dad today. Literally, the only time that he has to train would be before work. He gets up at 6:30 now. I go, okay, get up at 5:30 a.m. I don't know. I'm going to be too tired for the rest of the day. How do you know that? That's what you're telling yourself. That's why you don't do it.
Yeah. There's, Triple H. I'm a huge wrestling fan.
Yes.
All right. So Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, they're like super busy.
They work out at like 2 a.m. or something. Yeah.
I mean, they go in, they perform in the ring, they run the business, they do it all. Anyway, they work out at 11 o'clock at night. So they'll get up and go to work at 5 a.m, get up, do all that stuff. And they got kids too.
Yeah.
And then they go to work, and then they come home, spend time with the family, eat dinner, whatever. And the only time that they can work out is 11 o'clock at night, but they do it.
Yep.
And it's not easy, but they do it.
Oh, hell no. And I mean, it's no coincidence that they have all this success.
Yeah.
Because they choose to do the hard work. They choose to do the work that most people would not do, or they tell themselves that they can't do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty successful people. Obviously one of them started out pretty well in life, but to keep that momentum going is not easy.
Yeah.
Fill those shoes of daddy is not that easy in that business, I wouldn't think.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, and it's interesting you see that type of stuff. So yeah, her dad had it going. She kind of stepped in, but she's choosing to show up and still work her ass off, right? You see similar situations out there, and there's a lot of them, but you never see them because the son or the daughter just chose not to put in the work that they're.
I mean, a different example is Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's like, sleep faster. Yeah. That's what he said.
sleep faster.
I don't know how you do that, but basically he would say he would sleep 4 hours a night, and he worked out before they did their workouts in the military. I think he was in the Austrian military.
Yeah.
His book. I may be wrong on some of the details here, but he worked out in addition to what they did normally at hours that he was not supposed to be even out of the barracks or whatever. So it can be done.
Oh yeah. I think it all roots back to, like, what do you have a burning desire to achieve? And I mean, if we're looking at surface level stuff, guys are going to say, I need to lose this 20 to 25 pounds, or I'm sick of these love handles, or whatever. That's all fine and dandy, but I'm telling you right now, that's never going to be what drives you to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning, or it's not going to be the thing that keeps you up at 11 p.m. and then, at night working out, doing what you need to do. You need to dig deeper and figure out, like, what is that thing? Like, what is it that you truly desire out of all that? Like, how is your life going to change once you lose that 20 to 25 pounds and, get rid of that, right? For you, Chris, like, what's the big thing for you, man? Like, what do you?
Man, it was to be a leader to my son.
Yeah.
And a leader of this family. And I was not being one. I was being a jackass, in every aspect.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, did I have fun? Yeah. But it was not worth it. I can tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was just to be a good dad and a good leader and lead by example. And actually, like, if you tell your son to do something, you want to be doing it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like when you're living that life, it's almost like being a politician. It's like, do as I say, not as I do.
Yep.
And that doesn't work. They can smell the bullshit.
Yep.
I was bullshitting him. He was bullshitting me back. Now it's changed quite a bit. So I'm pretty proud of that fact too. So it wasn't easy, but it can be done. So, I mean, if somebody's listening to this and they just feel like, they're just screwed up and there's no hope, there's hope. You just got to get up every day and enforce it sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Not going to be easy.
No.
Not going to be easy. The only easy day was yesterday, right? So
yeah, it's kind of like when you put in the work of something hard. It could be building anything. It could be like building a motorcycle. It could be building a website, or putting in a good workout. It's like the next day you're able to look at that motorcycle, or you feel the soreness, and like you did something good the day before. And I think that kind of pushes you on too.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
You rarely regret after the fact when you do something hard. When you finally step up and do something hard, you look back on that and you're proud of it. You're a happy guy, for sure.
Yeah. The regret of not doing something hard, I think that hurts a little bit worse than the soreness that you feel the next day, or the achievement that you feel the next day through that. So yeah, it's just
that
doing
feeling
it.
pushes you down too. Pushes you down even more when you know what I mean? It kind of holds you down below the water.
Yeah.
Yep. Pours negative energy into your cup. So you're gonna, when there's something that needs to be done, work that needs to be done, it could come in a variety of ways, whatever, workouts, just doing the daily work and within your profession, right? You put it off, you procrastinate. It's like using a negative to cancel out a negative. It's just not, it's only going to add to it. Right. So it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier, is you just got to attack. You just got to take that next step. You got to flip the switch and figure out why it is you're doing what you need to do. Like, why do you need to stop lying to yourself? And I guess the real answers are only going to be inside of yourself. That's, every single guy's got to start with that conversation in the mirror.
Yeah, and it's almost like lying to yourself is almost like taking a drug. It's like a pacifier. It's like, it makes you feel a little bit better, but then the next day the problem is still there.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's a little bit worse. So, yeah, that's just when you were talking about the stories in your head, that's what really got to me, to change my mindset, I should say, from a negative and just turn it upside down. It's like, that's not true. All these things you're telling yourself are just not true.
Yep. Getting down to the real hard facts is really what it's about. Is like, okay, I'm busy. I'm too busy to do that. Literally too busy. Like, I don't have an extra 10 minutes or an extra 20 minutes. Is that true? Like, have you actually broken it down and proven it to be true? Like, if you can't, then obviously it's a bullshit lie. Right.
Have you seen that thing on your phone that tells you like how much time you spend on your phone for a week?
Mm-hmm.
And it'll ding you at random times, and it'll be like, your phone usage is up 50% over last week for a total of 5 hours and 10 minutes.
Your screen time was down this week, or up 17%, or whatever.
I think that right there is probably what you could use. Most guys could use to measure like the bullshit on the busy, because like how much time are they spending scrolling on Instagram or whatever? Just mindless.
Yeah, it's being busy. We're all busy. We're all busy. That's the default, right? It's more so about, okay, are you busy, or are you busy productive? Like, busy productive, now that's ideal, right? Because if you're trying to build things, doing whatever you need to do, you're going to be busy. Yeah, your time is going to be taken from you, but what are you doing with the time that you do have? So are you making the most out of 10 minutes, or are you scrolling through Instagram, scrolling through Facebook? And I always find that interesting when guys apply for the program. Sometimes they apply, it's like 1:30 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning, 3 in the morning. And I already know they were probably up in bed, scrolling through Facebook.
Well, that's the only way they would know, right?
What the hell are you doing?
At 3.
Yep. So it's crazy, man. And it's just time for a wake-up call. Own up to that man in the mirror. Start doing the work that needs to be done if you truly want to change. So, Chris, you got anything else that you want to add, brother?
Not really. Kind of covered it all. It's kind of uncomfortable to kind of talk about some of those things, but if it helps somebody else, it's all worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I can tell you this, man. It's been a long road. I can remember back when you reached out to me out of the blue. We hadn't talked to each other for a while. It had been a couple years since being in the mastermind, doing our things. I know we had chatted back and forth about stuff, and you reached out and took a chance.
Yeah.
Here we are, man. So
I'm a lifer now.
it's pretty cool. Now I got to figure out a way to get you out. So
Yeah, I'm staying though.
So it's been great, man. And you know what's really cool with that is now you've created your own. It's the golf aggressive. You've had that business, which I've always thought that was pretty damn cool. And then you've started to create, and you need to launch this. I'm putting you on the spot right now. Like you need to get this out there. But basically, a program for dads in golf. Like you're going to bring guys together through that. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be real similar to what we do in here. But, instead of like working out, it's golf that kind of brings us all together because that's our true passion. I'm lucky I have two passions. It's like golf and I love working out and I love like the whole fitness side of things. So what we're going to do is just kind of bring in busy dads, and it's even more difficult to play good golf when you're a dad and a businessman or you got to, you work in the oil fields or whatever. Golf takes like 4 or 5 hours, just for one round. Yep. And then you got to practice and all that. And a good practice round take, it's about an hour a day, roughly. So what we're trying to do is just get it real fine tuned. We've got some drills and things. We call it greasing the groove. You might be familiar with Pavel on that, Russian Special Forces guy. But we take that greasing the groove and we do it into golf movements, like grooving a perfect golf swing, for your body type. Set up an alignment, greasing the groove. You put tape on your floor. And when you walk in a door, you practice your setup and alignment. That's it. It's real simple stuff. But over time, just a little bit here and a little bit here, there randomly, these guys, man, they just transform their golf game. And it's totally for busy guys. So
that's awesome.
Really, in a nutshell, that's it. But also we want to touch on nutrition and health and just kind of being able to play golf, when we're like 85 years old. I think that would be fantastic to still be able to go out there and tee it up.
So you aren't trying to be the golfers that are chugging beers every hole and eating fried chicken from the clubhouse and hot dogs, or is that okay?
I mean, if you want to, that's up to you, because that's just going to slow you down and we'll just take your money.
We'll hustle you.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it. Good stuff, man. Well, Chris, thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate you, man. Continue to chip away and put in that work, brother. And tell the truth. I
appreciate you guys for kind of leading by example. You may not know it, but there's a lot of guys out there watching, and you're inspiring to them, and you're giving them some self-confidence to make some changes in their own lives.
Yeah. Well, it's great to be able to do that. It's certainly a blessing and very grateful for it. But again, at the end of the day, you got to do the work. Mm-hmm. The individual has to flip the switch and choose to do the work. They can watch from the sidelines all they want, but until they get in the game, nothing's going to change.
Yep.
So, awesome, boys. Thanks so much for coming on, fellas. I'll see you guys in a couple minutes for this evening's live coaching. We're digging into relationships tonight, so that'll be a good one. But guys, thanks again. Yeah, we all need help, right?
Oh yeah.
So it'll be a good one tonight. So thanks again for coming on, boys. I will see you on the inside.